everybody, thank you so much for joining today for this open demo of Cognition360. We're going to walk through some of the main reports for you today, just to kind of give you a general overview of what Cognition360 looks like. I am Christy Perez. I'm the Partner Success Manager here at Cognition360. I also have Adam Edwards on the call. Adam is one of our data analysts. Adam has been in the MSP for about 10 years now, and been doing consulting for about 2 years of that. So we also are here to answer any questions that you have just about cognition or just the MSP space in general. So he will be manning that Q&A and that chat today. So feel free to pop any questions that you have into that Q&A and chat, and we'll be sure to answer those for you as we're going along. Adam will just kind of stop me as I'm presenting to get into those questions that you have. We want to make sure if you're taking the time to be here that you also know or leave with what you want to know. The purpose of Cognition360, are you running your business on muscle and feel? Do you have the data that you need at your fingertips to run your business? What we do is we basically report on ConnectWise data. We pull the data from Cognition360, it goes into data warehouse, and then is published over into your Power BI. Once the reports are there, we've got about 170 different canned reports that you get out of the gate that will come with your reporting, and they're just kind of automatically set up for you, and you have access to all of those reports. Problems that we're solving is getting to that data quickly and really figuring out where you need to focus. What agreements do you need to focus on? What clients when do you need to hire? What does my capacity look like? Do I have too much, too little? The reporting that we have will really point that out to you. And as we walk you through onboarding, we're even going to, help point that stuff out to you as well. So we will have a poll kind of towards the end of the session just to see if you're interested in signing up for a trial. We do 21-day trials of Cognition360 to give you a lot of time to be able to look at the reports with your data. So at the end, if you could stay on just to complete that trial or that poll, and we'll get back to you on that session. So at this time, I'm going to share the reports with you. Adam, can you see my page okay?
Okay.
Awesome. So I am starting with the team utilization report. So I like to start with team utilization. I want to see how is your time being brought in? Who is getting their time in, who isn't? So with this first page, just a summary. For Cognition360, utilization is pretty much anything that you see on your timesheet. So this is going to be your internal time and your client time. Realization is going to be client time only. So we're going to split out that internal time to show how much of that time is going towards clients. And then your billable realized or billable utilization that you'll see is that client time less any no charge or do not bill. So up here at the top, you can see that I just have this selected to the service desk team. You can actually pick any team that you want in Cognition360. You can set your teams up to as granular as you want as well. So if you're a larger MSP and you have pods, we can actually set your teams up by pods so you can look at the data, slice and dice it however you want to look at it. You can also look at it by any date range that you want. So you can see here, we're looking at a labor range of last month. You could look at it by last week, last 6 months, or even with this compare feature, dates feature, you could say, show me a week ago, 3 weeks back in data. If I get into this comparison page, this is going to let you see each individual technician on that particular team. Here you have your available hours, just looking at last month's data. I can see that everybody is set at 160 hours, so at an 8-hour capacity. This is coming directly out of your ConnectWise on the member capacity screen. So I can see that everybody's member capacity here is set at 8. And then here we've got PTO. So we're going to look for PTO charge codes that you have. We're going to pull that PTO time out to say this is the true staff available time that each person has available. And then out of that time, what went on to their timesheet? We really want to see this number at 100% or close to 100% as possible. When I start seeing it a little higher than this amount, that's a good indication that that person might be working a little too much or the capacity on that team is getting too high. Realization, you can see that most of the time that Lizbeth has put in has gone towards clients. And then most of that time is also billable. So about 97% of the time is billable time for about close to 8 hours a day. And then you can kind of see it drops from there. But this whole team, very utilized, very billable team that I'm looking at. If I was looking at somebody's real data, I would definitely say, hey, you're running pretty hot on this team. It might be time to get somebody added. Usually when I see these numbers that are, around these 7 or 8s, probably working more like 9 or 10 hour days, and you don't want to really burn that person out. So it's stuff that you need to look at. A lot of the reports too, you'll have drill through capabilities or sorting capabilities. So you can see exactly where their time is going down here at the bottom. Or you can drill directly into this data, look at it by all time entries. So now we're looking at every single time entry that Elizabeth put in for last month. You can sort the data. You can see all the information from ticket summary and ticket notes as well. So up here at the top, I can see all of these lunch charge codes. I can also see that is all charge code time. If I click just on charge code, now I'm just looking at that charge code time, or now I'm just looking at that agreement time. You do have your ticket numbers that are linked back to ConnectWise. So if you need to go back into ConnectWise to look at something in more detail, you can easily do that as well. So that's a little bit about how utilization works. After utilization, I like to get into technician efficiency. Technician efficiency is how many tickets are we working on? So we're getting all of our time in. Now, how efficient are we with that time? This is going to let you see I'm looking at last 6 months of data just to get me a good trend here. I can see that Jeanette works about 34 tickets per day, and she's working those tickets in about 9 minutes per ticket. More than likely, she's probably like on a knock team. Usually when I see them up here in the high 20s or 30s, probably knock team workers. And then it kind of flows from there if you have a big team selected. Usually you can see that knock, the tier 1s down to your tier 3s. And then also you can see that average minute per ticket kind of going up and down, and those tier 3s getting in those larger minutes per ticket. Some other things you can see on this report are how many of these have configs attached. What percentage of the tickets have configs. So like with Jeanette, I can see that probably those knock tickets are set up to always have configs. And then also, do we have a valid type, subtype, and item? Valid for us basically means it's not sitting at blank or must change. We don't really know for sure if they picked the right one, but we do have some AI report coming in the future that will hopefully be able to just decide what your type, subtype, and item is based on your ticket notes. So that is in creation right now. It's not quite ready. So anybody on the call that might not have that good type, subtype, and item data yet, we will have a solution for that in the future as well. Time to first time entry. Great KPI. I love this. A little different than your SLAs in ConnectWise. The way this one works is you basically, it's how long is it taking you to work tickets once they're logged or they come into the system. So this is once ticket is logged to actual first time entry on ticket. So like if I'm looking at my tier 1s and I want to see how quickly they're getting to tickets that are being brought in, this is going to give me what those metrics are over there. A lot of times it might be that you want to look at this by board. You don't want to look at it for all boards. You're actually able to use lots of filters over here. So I could say, I just want to see tickets on a particular board, which you can see here. I just have network operations board selected. Or if I just wanted to see knock tickets, I could do that as well. So lots of ways to kind of slice and dice and sort that data with filters in Power BI, which is one of the beauties of the report, to be able to get it how you want it. You can also export any of this data out if you want to look at it in more detail. If you click on a person, it's going to give you their daily metrics down here at the bottom. And then you also have that drill through capability as well to drill all the way down into your tickets on this report as well. So that's a little bit on how efficiency works. Adam, any questions come in so far?
Not so far. What is the valid type and subtype and item?
So valid type, subtype, and item, and we do have reporting called common issue reporting. This is the type, subtype, and item that is picked on the ticket itself. And like I said, what we mean by valid is it's not sitting at blank or must change. So like for this data, of course, it's sample data, looks like almost 100% of the time that a valid type, subtype, or item are being picked. Now, usually when I see numbers this high, it usually means that you might have this set at mandatory in your ConnectWise. But like I said, wonderful reporting that you can get out of this type, subtype, and item data that we call our common issues report. It's probably one of my favorite reports. I don't have it in this demo today, but if you want to see it, definitely hit me up later. Adam, can you throw my email in the chat as well, just in case anybody has any questions? They can get a hold of me after this as well. Okay, so ticket KPI reporting. This is our closed ticket report. So this is where you're going to see a lot of those KPIs that you're looking for around single tech reopened, first contact, or you'll have first touch resolution sometimes. You can get this report. You can look at it by technician. You can look at it by customer, ticket priority. And here you can see how many tickets were closed by each individual, how many of those were first touch or first contact resolution, single tech, and then you also have that reopen. Lots of other metrics in here as well on those closed tickets. You can actually drill all the way down into those reopen. So if you see somebody with a high reopen, great indicator for training, especially if it's a new employee, and you can right click, drill down directly into those reopen tickets and look at them. So that's kind of how the ticket KPI report works. One of our most popular reports I'm going to go over next. This is our agreement profitability report. We have some partners, they pretty much sign up just for this report. They've spent many hours maintaining this on their own in spreadsheets, and now we have it for you. It just clicks some buttons. So this first page, just a summary page. You can see all of your agreements by type here, and then can look at it by any invoice period that you want to look at. If you click on a particular type, so with this, I can see this is my main managed services agreement. And then over here, you can see this trending for your margin, effective rate, contribution rate, and then also how many hours that you're putting onto these agreements. So this is looking at it from a big, holistic, huge, this is my whole managed agreement. If I want to get down to my clients, you click here, and now I can see it by individual clients as well. If I want to drill into a particular client, I can now look at that client. I can see overall their margin is kind of low, so that's a little concerning to me. But now I can see that I'm starting to bring that margin up a little bit. Another thing you can do directly from this report is drill in and look at all of your ticket, labor, invoicing details, additions. If I drill into my ticket and labor here, it's going to show me all of my tickets and my labor, kind of showing me a trend. And then here's all the tickets. So I can see I've had some bigger tickets up here. I do have my ticket number. The live reports does have it to where you can actually go back into your ConnectWise. I can click on the ticket up here at the top. It's going to show me what month that was in. That was a 10-hour ticket. Here we've got a very good example of not good type, subtype, and item data. If I had my type, subtype, and item data set up, I would be able to see exactly what that ticket was if my summary didn't explain it to me that well. I can also see 2 engineers worked on this ticket. If Jonathan was a tier 1, maybe this is something that should have been escalated a little bit sooner, and our agreement profitability would have been a little higher. So that's the way to look at this from a high level. I just want to see really quickly how we're doing. The one I say look at monthly is your agreement details page. So once we get into here, I could just select and say, I just want to look at my managed agreements. Now I'm looking at all my managed clients. I'm going to sort by total billed here just to get some of these larger ones up here at the top. I can see now that I bill this client about $14K a month. My additions are coming in at about $5,100. So when we onboard you, this is going to be one of the places we look. Do you have your additions in? Do you have all your tool costs in? I also want to make sure that there's no what I call faux labor in there, because we're going to use true labor cost to get you what your true profitability is using the labor cost that you have set per individual in ConnectWise per member. Now, a lot of times people might not have that in yet. There is ways to now lock down that member screen in ConnectWise. I think it came out about 2021. If there's some older ConnectWise partners on here, there is a way that you can now lock that down and have what's almost like a super admin in that member section to where only those people can see that information. So that way you're able to get not only just for our reporting, but any reporting really what that true profitability is. If you don't have it in, the cool thing about Cognition360 and Power BI is we can actually get those figures, house them on our end if you want us to from a sensitivity issue, or once you get them into ConnectWise, we can actually take them back for you historically to still give you true historical profitability. Like I said, this is the one I said to look at, monthly. So now I'm looking for anything that's falling in this peak. So it's below 40%. I want to find out why or what happened. So if I'm looking at this test country client here, I can see here's the total amount we billed. Additions look to be pretty accurate, but unfortunately I put about 34 hours and about $3,300 worth of labor on there, which is probably why my agreement dropped. If I click on that, I can see down here at the bottom week over week where those hours went in. And then again, you still have that drill through into your ticket and labor and your additions to go in and look at this in more detail to see, okay, what were some of those larger ticket items that caused the issues in that particular month. So like I said, monthly, great report, great account management report. We do have this if you're looking or measuring based on top and bottom effective rates. We do have those top and bottom effective rate reports for you as well. This is a good one. I say put on a dashboard at 6 months, change it to a month, and then show it at a month level for these bottom effective rates side by side. And it's a quick way to see, are they dropping overall or was it just in one particular month? Great for account management to then say, hey, everything that's below 180, I want you to go in and kind of look at these clients and see if there's something that needs to be done. Is there an increase? What's going on to have that effective rate drop? And then we also have overall margin review. This is the one where I pretty much say, when clients say, well, I need to know which clients do I need to focus on? Who am I losing money on? This is the one that's going to give you that information. So what you're doing in here is you're looking for items that are in this pink or going in and out of pink. So if I'm looking at Agile Path, I can say that this, like 20% overall margin over the last year, staying in that pink range and then doing my drill throughs to get into there and looking at it. Or I can look at ones that are going in and out like this one. For that car checks, I remember from my first page, that was one of my larger clients. So spending a lot of money with us, but their margin is really low. We are starting to improve that margin. So maybe there was an increase on that agreement. So this is going to let you see that. So that's a little bit on agreement profitability. Adam, any questions that have come in on that?
Yeah, Russell had a great question, and we've all experienced this. He says on the reopen tickets metric, what do we consider reopen tickets? Because the clients always respond, "Thank you," after you send them something in the resolved.
Yes, great question. So for us, reopen tickets it's gone through the ticket closure process more than once, and then it has labor recorded after the initial close. So if it gets reopened for like a client saying thank you or just a survey or something, it's not going to count as reopened. Now we do count closed tickets or based on resolved status. So if an engineer puts a ticket in resolved and then you have something that takes it all the way to completed, that engineer will get credit for having that as a closed ticket. And then if it goes back to reopened after that, they will get dinged for that being reopened if labor is recorded afterwards.
Perfect. Thank you.
Let's touch on projects. So project summary report, this is probably my favorite one. We do have a lot of other project reports, resource availability, capacity, active tickets. This is the one that I usually look at first, mainly just to see how you're getting your projects set up. It's really hard to manage projects within ConnectWise, especially if you have a lot of them. This is a way for you to look at projects. You can sort by just one particular project manager. So I could come in here and say, I just want to see reports that Irish is working on. My data is not one to update for me, but I could just click on Irish there. You can see here, I just have this selected for open projects. So these are all the open projects. I can see up here, I've got this one project that's 324 hours in budget. Budget is going to be one of the most important things that you need to set up on your projects to be able to manage and see what's going on with that project, especially if they're a fixed fee project. I can see with this one, it's over budget, just went over budget. It is an actual rate project. So I'm not as worried about it from, losing profitability, but I am worried if the client had agreed to a certain amount of hours. Lots of other information in here. You can see project start and end. If something goes past the scheduled end, you're going to see it turn to this red. And then you can also see last notes that were put onto the project. Lots of information. One of the biggest beauties of this report is the drill through into the data. So I can drill down into my phases or my labor. And now I can see that every single one of these are closed. It's just for some reason that project is still open, which lets me know, good idea. This one is actually closed. I'm just waiting on the final closure process of this project. I can also see if I have my budgeted hours in there by phase, which of these phases went over. So once you can get it to this level, when you start getting new projects that are the same or of similar size, you're going to be able to say, okay, we've quoted 2 projects. It's gone over on this phase. We should probably increase this on our scope of work next time. Another thing you can do is drill into the phases. It's going to show you the tickets on that phase. You can go into the tickets here, or you can also drill through all the way into your project labor for that particular information as well. So now you can see all the tickets, and also your labor notes will be brought in. So from a project management standpoint, if you have this set up correctly, you just about don't have to go into ConnectWise to manage your projects anymore, as long as there's a few key features in here that are set up correctly. Weekly dashboard. This is just kind of a condensed version, looking at more of the more important information. This is the one I say use for those weekly meetings. You can even just sort and say, show me everything on or off track based on budget. There is Project Gantt in here. This Gantt chart is going to be used based on the start and end date that you put on that project. So another place where those start and end dates are important, or if that project is going over and you're changing the end date, to make sure that those are updated. There is resource availability and resource planning down here as well. That is going to be dependent on the scheduled hours being used. So in ConnectWise, you have to schedule based on ticket. So, usually what I'll tell people is, schedule out 1 or 2 weeks just to give yourself some capacity to see, especially if you're using those hybrid engineers that are using, you're using them on agreements and projects. So you can start seeing how much of their time is getting pulled into those projects. That do we maybe need to hire another managed service engineer and put this person all the way into that project team. So just some different ways to kind of start looking at the data that way. Sales dashboard, want to touch on this. We do have sales dashboards, opportunity dashboards, pipelines. Most of the reports are going to kind of be laid out like this for you. So you're going to have kind of an overall closed opportunity dashboard. You can kind of see your won and lost revenue rolling over 18 months. If you go into your won revenue, we are going to list in here each opportunity. You do have your links to go back into the opportunities into ConnectWise, and then the details of that opportunity are going to be listed for you as well. So one of the things that you get a lot with ConnectWise is if you have one that say it's a 36-month agreement, this is the lifetime value. What was my monthly recurring? So we will break that out for you as well, so you can kind of see what's being brought in from a monthly recurring standpoint as well. You can select this to say, show me everything from last month. Sales dashboard is going to be based on close date, where we have an opportunity dashboard, lots of same information based on opportunity date. So you can look at the data kind of however you want to look at it. And lastly, I want to touch on our technology business review report. So this is going to be more of that customer facing reporting for account management. This is a template that we've created for you to be able to go and meet with your clients and give them the needed information to show them what you're doing, how you're doing, and then you can export this out into a PowerPoint. You can see here I've just got one customer selected. You can also just select any of this information over here in your filters. If there's particular boards, like I want to take out my sales and finance board, you just pull those out, and your filters kind of get it set up exactly how you want, create your template, and then it's kind of ready for you the next time around to go meet with those clients. And then it's just going to bring in that client information. I can see how many tickets were entered for that client, how many are currently open, resolved, how many labor hours, and also average minutes per ticket. Service dashboard, this is where you're going to see, who's submitting the most tickets, and then also those tickets by type, subtype, and item. Service level is going to take it down to those priority tickets. You can actually click on a priority. It's going to show your average minutes response. So I can see with my priority ones, it's taken me about 5 minutes to respond to those priority 1 tickets. CSAT, we do bring in information at the CSAT level. We work with a lot of the different CSAT tools out there. So as long as those CSAT tools are going back into ConnectWise, we can actually bring in those CSATs and get them into reports. We actually have lots of other CSAT reporting per individual tools. I think we have Crewwho, Smileback, Cloud Radial, or a few that I know of for sure. Adam, are there any others that you can think of that we're reporting on right now?
SimpleSat, and of course the ConnectWise surveys as well. If you have points or some type of survey, there's different ways you can do it inside ConnectWise, but we can report on all those as long as that data comes back into ConnectWise. Then we can report on it.
Computer information. So we do bring in everything that you have set up from a computer information, as long as it's going back into ConnectWise. Also, your device information will be listed in here. Let me take this client off so I can kind of show you what that looks like a little more. So here you can see the device names, also the type. So like if I just wanted to see, my managed workstations, I could come in here and just pick out that particular type. And then I would only be looking at that particular managed workstation. I can see, what operating system, what was the purchase date, expiration, all of that information is going to be in here for you by client. So great for account management to be able to talk to them about, if there's something that needs to be updated or about to come out of warranty, to get all of that stuff up to date and an opportunity for yourself. Which brings me to recommendations. If they have an open recommendation or an open opportunity, pretty much a better word for sales, that's going to be brought in here for you. So the account manager or whoever's meeting with that client can then have those opportunities ready to get signed off on or talk about those with them. And then down here, you'll have your completed. Procurement, this is the only place we're going to actually bring in anything on cost in this report. It was built to be very relationship driven. This will give any type of product that they've purchased over the period of time you have selected with that price and quantity as well. So that's a little bit on how that TBR report. Again, you can just put this into a PowerPoint, use the pages that you want. If you already have kind of a template created, just something else you can add in. I always recommend to account managers too, that KPI report, sorting it by priority might be something you could snip into a PowerPoint that you already have created as well. So that's a little bit we have. Adam, if we don't have any other questions.
I've got one more.
Okay.
Sri is asking, and this is a similar line of the surveys of if you can get into manage. They're saying that they put their opportunities in Microsoft Dynamics instead of ConnectWise Manage. Is there any way to get that data in an opportunity report?
The information that we report on currently is in ConnectWise only from an opportunity standpoint. So the information would have to have gone from Dynamics into ConnectWise into opportunities for us to be able to report on it. We are in the process of integrating with a lot of different tools right now, especially with the acquisition of us being acquired by ScalePad. There's going to be a lot more development dollars coming into play for us to be able to get those integrations happening quicker. We're also currently just under the ConnectWise PSA, where we currently have development for Autotask. So we're going to be reporting off different PSAs and also all of those different tools that MSPs are using as well. So there is a roadmap out there, but from a Dynamics standpoint, I don't see that one in the near future in regards to Power BI reporting, unfortunately.
Thank you. That was it for questions for now, at least.
Okay. Well, I see we're right at the 30-minute mark. I do thank everybody for getting on this call. If you're interested in setting up a trial of Cognition360, please reach out to me. Adam's put my information in the
chat. Yep.
In the chat, and then instead of doing the poll, just reach out to me if you're interested in seeing more. Or if you have other team members that they'd like to see a demo, we can make sure that this demo gets sent to them. If it's a larger team and you're wanting to see more information on particular areas, let me know that as well. We have tons of webinars on all the different reporting areas if you want to see a more granular view of each of the different workspaces. We can get that over to you. If you're interested in knowing more about pricing, let me know that as well. Just a little bit on pricing. We are user-based based on ConnectWise. Up to 30 users, it's $349 a month, and then it's typically about $100 per month more for every 10 ConnectWise users that you have, just to give you an idea on what that pricing looks like. So hope to hear from all of you, and really, really appreciate you guys joining today.
Thanks, everyone.